Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Prajwal Paudyal, the founder and CEO of Qualz.AI. Prajwal brings a remarkable blend of expertise with a PhD in computer science from Arizona State University, experience at Deloitte, Proctor and Gamble, and Apple, and a passion for transforming qualitative research through AI. Based in Cincinnati, Ohio, Qualz.AI, founded in 2023, is revolutionizing how researchers gather and analyze insights, making the process faster and more accessible. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers researchers, and his vision for scaling this AI-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Prajwal, welcome to Founders Future.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
An absolute pleasure. You're doing some incredible things in the space. I am a huge advocate of AI, so super excited to hear your take and your side on it and being a founder of an AI company. So would love to hear for you to take us back to the beginning, if you can here. What specific problem, Prajwal, in the qualitative research landscape really inspired you to start Qualz.ai?
Yeah, so I mean, it's these moments of kind of transformation that force us to rethink ways that we're doing things, right? And I think part of it comes from just keeping an open eye on how we're doing things. And hey, this is the best we could because these are the tools, these are the technology we have at that time. So going back to my time at Procter and Gamble, we did like hours of these interviews, like customer interviews, that was people talking about how they are utilizing a product or answering questions from product researchers. And then that translated to many hundreds of hours of people just listening to it, try to get insights, right? Because that's the best we could do back then. We just didn't have AI that was generally smart. But come 2022-ish, like when ChatGPT came out, we're like super excited, right? Is hey, we can talk to this AI, right? It's not
Yeah.
like old AI where we'd be like, let's go and make all these like data tables and all that stuff, spend a lot of time, and then this AI will do one thing is hot dog or not kind of AI, right? So this is a whole different type of AI. So very exciting. And then I just started tinkering with it and seeing what interesting problems can it solve that I've encountered before, right? And turns out it's pretty good at it and it's getting better and better, faster and faster. So yeah, that's what prompted me. Yep.
Incredible. I mean, I definitely want to really dive deep with you on Qualls.ai, especially for
Mhm.
our listeners. So we could have some listeners tuning in to this episode. And once the episode airs, could come and work with you, especially with the services that you're offering around
Sure.
AI. Really walk us through how Qualls is generating revenue today. Praj, what's the core offer? I know you do AI analysis or AI moderated interviews. So what's there? How is it structured for your clients? And who is the ideal client that you love to work with most?
Yeah, because so when we started the company, we didn't have anything like this in the market, of course. So that's why we started it. However, this pain point is felt acutely, and the pain point being that, hey, we want to learn about what to build, who to build it for, and who is it a good fit for it, the classical product market fit, right? So you're trying to build something, and it appears in startups where it's a brand new product, right? Where's the market, who's going to buy it? So that problem exists in startups, but as you go through the maturity curve of companies, it's the same thing for brands that are launching new product, right? So there's a new kind of shampoo we want to launch. Who is it actually for? How will they perceive it? Or it's a new website. So there's these conversations happen all the time. And AI, although it is like really good at a lot of general intelligence tasks, it won't tell you some things of how things are going to get perceived. So this pain point is felt acutely throughout the maturity curve or the size of the company or something. However, I think it's even super, super critical for startups because as startups, we're trying to figure out a product market fit. And there's a number I read somewhere like 42% of startups fail because of they're building the wrong product or there's no market for it. So essentially, get into that building mindset, but there's no market for it. So to answer your question, how this actually works is that you can go set up now an agent that understands your objective, like your product, what you're trying to build, and who your audience is, right? So you can give it some of these directives in a very conversational way. And then you get essentially a link. And instead of getting on a call with everybody that you could reach, right? Now you can have that agent that can just have these research like conversations on your behalf, right? You still might have to pay the participants, but we take the heavy lifting of scheduling, which is very difficult with AI agents. You don't need to schedule anymore. That's one big pain point, right? Because think about it, like people work 9 to 5 and their calendar gets full and there's a lot of back and forth. People don't show up, right? Because everybody else is also working 9 to 5, right? You're trying to reach a business owner. So we take on that scheduling part, that goes away. And then the other part is just being there because your time stretches as a founder or let's say a product owner. You can only be on so many calls, right? So you're missing all that long tail insight, right? So that goes away. And then all these conversations start happening in the background and all these analysis, we call them lenses, right? So that gets parsed by AI as well. So you start to get like these very pointed insights.
Yes. Beautiful. So it really sounds like you are working with these startups and brands launching new products and going in and building these AI agents for them and providing this analysis to really get them into a position where they can understand everything in front of them and go to market as effective and efficient as possible. So I would love to hear from you is how are you thinking about the idea of scaling your company, scaling this type of offer, and which one of your offers is the bread and butter, what you've been seeing as the go-to for your clients as of late?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because we have three main core offerings. So one is the AI agent. Hey, let's create an AI agent, or you can do it yourself that does the research on your behalf. And we have this other very correlated one is with kind of great power comes great responsibility, right? So now you can do 1,000 interviews with people across the world, like in any language and stuff. So you get all these words, right? So you got to do something with it. So we have a lot of tech built around, do you want to understand the jobs to be done or what are people trying to do? There are all these frameworks. So we built like these analysis lenses. So that's another core feature is that as these data is coming in, you get insights, right? And the third feature is like, what if you didn't have access to the people you want to talk to, right? So we go and find them, we help recruit them, but we also have this feature where you could say, what are AI, can we plausibly estimate what some of this will look like by giving AI personas, right? So that's synthetic segment. So to answer your question, like we see a lot of adoption in the analysis because that's very slam dunk. You can actually conduct your own interviews. We can take the transcript of this interview, for example, and then put it into the platform, and you already get like these framework driven, very quick pointed insights that you can do something with, right? That's where we see a lot of like people just coming in and starting to use it. And that's where we see a lot of revenue growth. I think AI interviews is up and coming. So people are trying it. People are like, oh, this is really interesting. I can get 1,000 pieces of in-depth conversation. But it's still, I think, picking up. Like people are trying it, and then there's some questions about how would participants or like how would people perceive being interviewed by an AI, right? So that's a little bit of an adoption curve. I think people are still like, we find people that are innovators or early adopters that really jump on it and are starting to use it, right? So the last piece, which is, hey, we can create like AI personas that help you figure out your customer segment or figure out their journey, right? So that is very new, right? But it's also relatively low risk. So people will pilot it and get some insights and then go to the field, right? So there are different levels of adoption to it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Talk to us a bit here then, Prajwal. Phenomenal with the way that you're thinking through this and how you're really taking advantage of AI and everything that it can do to provide this type of quality service to your clients. What's working best for you on the acquisition side of things? How are you really obtaining consistent leads? Do you have a lever that you can pull for a predictable lead flow for Qualls, or what channels are most effective for you right now?
Yeah, we're just like figuring it out as we are going in terms of generating new leads. And also, we are very deliberate on who we work with. So it's not like we're trying to create this massive million row like lead list and then blast it out to everybody to
Right.
see who works with us. Because it's very important, I think, in the early kind of stages of the technological maturity, both from an overall field perspective, but also from a company perspective, to work with the right people because people might have a sense of this is a slam dunk technology and I will get as good insights as if I had a 500-person team that are all like PhD researchers or something, and they've been working for together for many years. That's not how it is, right? It's going to be, you get that scale, you get acceleration benefits, but you still need to invest your time in understanding what are things that you could do that you could never have done before, but where are some of those changes or adaptations you have to do to working with almost like an AI workforce, right? So it's a right kind of innovator mindset that is needed. So where we are finding like a lot of success is social, right? And word of mouth from our customers. So we don't do a lot of marketing yet. We're not creating a whole lot of leads, but anybody that have used us are bringing in some referrals, right? And we are growing with them. So it's been working for now. I think a year to like next year after, we'll probably start to do very targeted ads and outbound reach outs.
Love it. I love it. That sounds like that is the bottleneck right now, is finding more of a building a predictable lead generation system. It looks like you're
Right.
working towards that, to have that there, be able to bring in more leads, have that predictability. So incredible that that is a goal, and that's something that you want to break through there. So as far as a sales process, are you running this on your own? Are you a solopreneur? Do you have a bit of a team around help around sales and marketing? What does that look like as far as the team wise?
No, we do. So we are slowly expanding, right? So it's me and my co-founder leading most of the go-to-market side. I also double down as like CTO or head of engineering. So I tend to focus on the product and engineering aspects a little bit more, and my co-founder does go-to-market and sales. But we are both involved, so it's a lot of hats, right? We have to wear all of these hats. And I can't really miss out on the sales conversation because for us it's 90% learning. Anytime we get on with a client conversation, we're not trying to make a sale, right? We're trying to learn if we're a right fit, right? Because a lot of times we say this won't work for you, right? Because this is not the right probably approach or not the right time, right? So I think and we don't take as many opportunities as the clients, probably 50-50 there, right? Because it's just not the right fit at this time. So we get on all these calls that are at some stage. So because I'm trying to understand, can we really solve their problem and will they be our advocate, right? Because otherwise, what's the point of taking on like early customers, right? If we can't really solve their pain point, they're not gonna help us spread.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty, is really understanding, okay, here is where we could provide quality. This is going to be our focus, right? Not just trying to stack the pipeline, trying to really have as much quality over the quantity side. So with that there, Prajwal, is another focus of yours for that scale to start bringing on more help in that sales, maybe a setter or closer to help you guys out on that, so you guys can focus on the founder level tasks that need to be focused on, and more the fulfillment side.
I think so. I think so. I think going in like later this year or next year, we'll be trying to, of course, I say that, hey, we are very careful about who we bring in, but that means that it all depends on the quality of leads that come in the funnel. And if we are leaving out a whole lot of quality leads out there, then the people we end up with on a call, we might not have a good closing ratio, right? Because we're leaving a lot of things out there. So definitely that needs to be tiptoed, and we should not be losing out on any good leads that we couldn't reach, right? So that having that top end of the funnel that is very robust is super important. So we'll definitely focus on that, but also from a perspective of just like closing and being able to get to the value conversation, right, as soon as possible. So we're thinking of like bringing in people with like more experience there to guide us. However, that being said, like I think this year at least we'll probably try to keep doing a lot more like founder led, because we are learning so much by just being in these conversations, and that impacts our product, that impacts our go to market, that impacts like a whole lot of things, right? Our ICP profile, right? So we definitely want to be on those conversations, but it'd be nice to have some experience there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the biggest piece, as you guys are going through this journey of scaling and growing and building, is just putting the right pieces in place. And that's
Right.
the beauty of the show, right? And why I love speaking to so many different founders, because the journey of the founder is not an easy one, right? And there's so many different paths to take, roads to take. So, being in the position that you're in and knowing, okay, here are the steps that I need to take for success. It's incredible having you on the show so far, Prajwal. And truly, grateful to be able to hear your thought process through it. I know that we touched on the bottlenecks, right? The kind of the pain points of what you're looking to break through for that scale. And that's again, that predictable lead generation, having that quality coming in, and then again, building more on that sales side, having more help on that side for you and your co-founder to focus on that founder level role. Talk to us about the vision. We know that those are things that need to be breaking through. What does the rest of the year look like as far as what are you locked in on to get to that scalability that you're looking to achieve?
The scalability also depends a lot on what we focus on and also what we don't focus on, right? Because we can't, as founders, as we can't go and say, here are all the opportunities in this space that we've seen and we're going to attack them all. From a human resource scalability perspective, that becomes like really difficult, although there might be some revenue there, right? And there is a product scalability aspect of it as well, right? Because if we launch like a thing that takes off, right, are we ready for that? So we have these conversations in parallel. For example, for like these AI interview agents, it's a very complex setup that it's not as straightforward to just go from 0 to 1,000 or 10,000, 100,000, right? While maintaining the quality, because there is dependency on what big model we're using. Are they ready for kind of scale? And are there any things like issues that only show up at scale? Because we're doing 10 reviews, it might be fine, but are we able to process all these videos that start like coming in, right? So those kind of like product things. So we try to work hand in hand and every month to just hit our target of increasing volume, both from the incoming perspective, but also doing a lot of load testing and stuff like that on our product and platform. So there is no gotchas or bad experiences for the customers.
Love it. I love it. With that, I definitely want to go into the lightning round here. So, just two questions for you before we wrap up the show, Prajwal. And again, it's been incredible hearing your mindset and your journey so far. One of the questions here that I have for you before wrapping up is going to be on your how you see the future here of the qualitative research industry as a whole. How do you see that evolution of the industry, especially with your AI driven approach? What are you doing to keep yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
Yeah, so right now it is probably 1-2% of it is done by AI and the rest of it is being done by humans. I think this whole industry is going to balloon up like crazy because it's an accessibility thing, right? Everybody can do it now. You don't need the expertise. It's cheaper. But also I think like 98, 99% of the qual research will be done by AI in the next few years. So very excited about the field. There is still some things like ethnography or something where you need to sit down with people, understand the culture, right? So that's where the humans will be, right? But it's not a job cutting thing because I think that the whole industry will balloon up so much that people can focus on the really high value aspects of qualitative research.
Love it. I love that. And then last but definitely not least here, what is a piece of advice, Prajwal, that you can offer to our listeners tuning in right now, hearing your incredible journey and clear as day, you're going to do some big things. So what can you offer to our listeners before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, it's from my experience, right? It's from just like having founded this company, coming in from a bit of a technical background. What I've realized is that a lot of things that you say that, hey, this is not me, this is not my role, right? It's usually just a stigma associated with it. Once you jump in and then keep an open mind and start like looking for good resources, maybe podcasts like yours, right? Or books, right? You pick them up and you just start doing it, and a lot of things just connect. So I think just wearing that multiple hats is really empowering and is possible.
Love it. I love it. With that, there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Prajwal, I truly cannot thank you enough coming on the show, sharing your amazing journey this far and your insights and clear as day with the intelligence, with your drive and your passion. You're going to do some incredible things in the space. So truly, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you tell us your story today. Looking forward to keeping up with you and seeing everything that you're going to accomplish. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And don't forget to check out Qualz.AI at Qualz.AI to learn more about their AI powered research tools. And also follow Prajwal on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Paudyal Prajwal. And for more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.